Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Near Fall Podcast, coming to you from the heart of the Near Fall Nation in Oildale, California. You got myself, Cody, and
Joel. And I would be going by J-Bone, but I'm thinking about switching from J-Bone to something better. I don't know, but I haven't decided yet what I'm gonna go by, and I'll figure it out later. At some point, I'll figure it out.
He still is J-Bone on Grindr, though.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm not gonna change that. Never change. So we got a pretty good show lined up for you here today, guys. We're gonna obviously talk about Elimination Chamber. We're gonna make our picks. So mine, of course, will be solid gold. You'll definitely want those. We're gonna talk all kinds of stuff, just pretty much everything that's going on right now. We do want to thank everybody out there who's hitting the download button on us today. We are going to work hard to get this one out. We're going to try to get it out tonight, Friday night, for you guys, so you can actually listen to it before Elimination Chamber. Some of the feedback that we got from the WWE guy on Twitter, just shout out. So yeah, that's what we're doing here tonight. Laying down our picks, talking wrestling. We're going to go a little bit out of our comfort zone tonight, too. I think we're even going to talk about Lucha Underground. We're going to acknowledge the existence of some other promotions on the pod here today. So something Cody's been, against since day one, but has since come around. So Dead Space. All right, so I think we'll kick right off. We'll talk a little bit about maybe we'll cover Raw a little bit. What did you think about Raw, Cody?
It was a good episode, and I think what I'd like to kick off right away is our first episode for you veteran listeners of the Near Fall Podcast.
The legacy listeners.
Is we did the Does John Cena Really Suck? And I was one of the ones that says he doesn't suck. Wrestling-wise, I believe, he goes out and gives 110%. Is his gimmick a little old, a little stale? Absolutely. But when he's in the ring and there's somebody else in the ring with him, and he's having a debate back and forth, I don't mind that dialogue. But lately, when he's been coming out and cutting 15-minute
Sensing a flip-flop coming here.
U.S. Open Challenge promos, like, enough is enough. I'm so glad that I record Raw so I can fast forward later.
I do the same thing, yeah.
I mean, I don't hate the guy. I don't think he sucks, but let's cut those promos down. You're supposed to come out and say the champ is here. Want some, get some. U.S. Open Championship is open. Bring it. That's it.
I agree, man. I didn't think it was that cool. I didn't think Zack Ryder was that cool of a person to come out. I think they could have used somebody else, somebody who's not a jobber, who you knew might have a chance. Of course, I hated the cast of Entourage being there because they suck. But
no, I'm marked out, dude. Entourage.
Marked out, yeah. You probably marked out for Zack Ryder. That's
definitely we'll watch that Monday special preview.
Monday will be out for like 5 days by Monday. The old news. Nobody will be talking about it. But yeah, so I didn't like that Open Challenge. I've been a huge fan of the Open Challenge. I'm a little bit on board with you about the promos. He was really coming out there pumping up the I Quit match and doing all that stuff. I didn't really care for that. But recently, it's gotten pretty stale as far as the Open Challenge goes, because what I expected from the Open Challenge was that it would carry on for a few weeks and then it would turn into a feud with somebody. And it kind of did with Owens, but yet he's still doing the Open Challenge, so I don't know.
Right. I like the Open Challenge because it does make that title relevant, because before...
But then they bring a guy out to stomp on it, so...
Yeah, twice. Yeah. But...
America.
Like you said, we all knew. I mean, every time somebody comes out, we know they're not going to win. But you have that hope when Ambrose took it first and Neville came out and did it, even Sami Zayn. When Kevin Owens comes out, he doesn't end up taking the challenge, but you still thought, some shit's going to go down. But when Woo comes out, you knew you knew this is just a filler match.
He's a jobber. I don't even know why they keep that guy around. He doesn't even have the look. You see him flopping all over the ring. Not that I have the look, by any stretch of the imagination. Shoulders up, yeah, for sure I got it. But shoulders down, it's bad. It's all bad. But, I'm not a professional wrestler.
Top chest to shoulders, I look good.
Yeah, nipples up, your money, dude.
Yeah, dude. Like, nipples down, though, bro.
It's bad.
You don't even want to see
your nipples are real low, too. So it's like the belly button / nipples down.
I don't know about that, but...
All right, so what other thoughts did you have from Raw, man? The main event was virtually non-existent. It was what it was a contract signing on steroids. It was your typical contract signing.
You know what I love about that is that whenever it's relevant or you need some filler time, a contract has to be signed. But 90% of your matches, you don't ever see a contract signing, but they still happen.
And if you ever catch a glimpse of those things, dude, they're like, it just said, that probably said like Dean Ambrose is gonna wrestle Seth Rollins, and that was it. They had like the Elimination Chamber logo was like half the page.
Yeah, it's like
they're so bogus.
Letters.
Yeah.
But talking about Elimination Chamber a little bit, with the matches that we've seen online that are for sure, Roman Reigns doesn't have a match this weekend, so you know that he's gonna play.
He's gonna be there,
in the
yeah.
main event.
And what do you think about Ambrose? I think, especially in the IWC, which we're heavily a part of, I think Ambrose is he's over, man. His overness has spread from Cleveland or Cincinnati. Maybe we air that out. Probably not, but his overness has spread from his hometown.
There you go.
Yeah, his hometown of I'm pretty sure it's Cincinnati. I mean, don't quote me. And the dude's not my favorite. I don't know his hometown. It's not West Newbury. I know that. But his overness has spread, and I think I don't think he's gonna win. We'll get into that for sure later. I'm on the fence, but I think he's past Roman Reigns as the guy, the next guy. Obviously, Seth Rollins is already there. He's got the title on him, but I think Ambrose is the next guy.
Yeah, no,
he's touching the brass ring. He's not grabbed it yet, but
I'm definitely a Dean Ambrose supporter. I like what he's doing.
He's our kid's Stone Cold.
Exactly.
So he's toned down.
I was going to say, you had brought up earlier that he's like the new Stone Cold just by coming in the paddy wagon dressed as a cop, getting arrested. They had some pictures on the internet this week of side by side of Stone Cold getting arrested and Dean Ambrose getting arrested. Stone Cold made it look cooler.
They also had one of John Cena getting arrested too. You're like totally off the bandwagon. You don't even care about John Cena no more.
But you know what I thought was going to happen at the end when they claimed the ring and Roman Reigns was standing there with the clipboard? I thought he was going to sign it real quick.
Oh, that would have been cool. That would have been a cool angle. Then it could turn into a triple threat. It would have been like the last 3 pay-per-views.
Yeah, but that would have probably ruined their friendship, and then you could have had them feuding.
Well, it's kind of ruined eventually.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and then also, Randy Orton. They haven't seen him since Payback. He's obviously doesn't have a match at the pay-per-view. He hasn't been on any Raws or SmackDowns.
He wrestled a dark match after the last Raw.
Right.
Against Wyatt. That'd be a good feud.
That'd be a nice
good feud.
They threw Wyatt into the Elimination Chamber to take the injured Rusev
Which he's got to win, because you've got to think. We'll talk about it in depth, but I thought Rusev would win that. And he would use that to try to lure Lana back and continue his feud with Ziggler, because Ziggler, he lost the belt, and then they kind of just quit that program when he had the IC belt. And he's not a main, top level talent, I don't think.
Right.
Even though I'm wearing his shirt right now.
I think you got to give it to Bray.
He's never had a title.
Does he win? I don't know.
Yeah.
But is he the most deserving in the match? In my opinion, yeah. Because everybody else has had a title that's in the match, I believe.
Well, one guy who hasn't had it.
Yeah, we don't.
There's still space, dude.
There's not space. It's full.
No, that could be space. It's John Cena. Don't make space. All right, back to Raw. We're getting off topic here. This is a preview. Yeah, it's a preview show, so if you don't like it, make sure you subscribe, and then you don't have to listen, but just make sure you download it. Back to Raw. Anything else you want to highlight from Raw? Anything that you thought was cool? Or I like that they did the tag team match. They brought all the dudes out and did that business, but to me, that was kind of like the second week in a row I think they've done that. and kind of spoiling it, because what you're getting in Elimination Chamber is like a pinfall or submission Royal Rumble type match, because you're going to have 12 dudes up in that joint. And I can tell you right now, the third guy from New Day is going to find a way to get in.
Yeah. I don't think they're ruining it because you haven't really got to see the Lucha Dragons that much.
True.
The Matadors aren't on television that often.
Shouldn't be.
Primetime just got on TV.
Primetime?
Live. They cut those promos, but
yeah.
So
you think they're going to use Harper and Rowan to push the Matadors out and sneak their way in? Because why would they get those guys back together right before a huge tag team match and then leave them out?
But they didn't even have them on TV on Raw.
Yeah.
And I haven't watched
SmackDown. Maybe they weren't on there either. Maybe they come out like what they did to Axel. Right as they're coming out, boom, here they come. The buzzards, baby.
Maybe. I don't see it happening.
I think anybody you do that with, you got to put the belt on. You can't have those dudes. You can't have those dudes come out, knock some other old boys out, and then go in there and lose. I mean, we've seen crazier things in the WWE, but I don't know.
That's really about it. The Raw, just to me, I didn't really feel too entertained. I think the highlights, I think we've already touched on.
It wasn't a great Raw. That's for sure.
It wasn't a good go-home show.
No. Well, it's the impromptu go-home show. This go-home show we've had planned on the books, but that go-home show was just like, oh, well, it's time to go home. Let's do it. Let's move on from Raw. It wasn't a great Raw. Raw's been overall, all things considered, since Mania, Raw's been good. I think Raw's on the uptick. The show overall has been more entertaining. There's been ups and downs. I never liked the ones when they're in London just because they're not live.
Right.
So I never liked those, but it is what it is. I hate saying that because all things are what they are. Everybody knows that, but it wasn't the best Raw, but it wasn't the worst Raw either by far. So let's talk about let's go to Elimination Chamber, I guess. Big story, big story heading into Elimination Chamber. Popped up on Tuesdays with Rusev. They're now Bulgarian brute again. Not that a whole lot of people even know that there's a difference, but
let's touch on that just for a minute. Does Vince McMahon think that his viewers are fucking retarded?
Well, he certainly must. I mean, the old boy's like, I'm moving back to Bulgaria.
He's Bulgarian before, gets with Lana, now he's Russian. Got the Russian star, brings out the flag. He's basically sucking Putin's dick, and
he's got Bulgaria tattooed on his shoulder.
Bam! Just like that, he's coming out with the Bulgaria flag.
Well, see, but I think the angle that they were working was that he had burnt the bridge so bad with Lana that he had to move from Russia, and they hinted about it. Your boy Michael Cole hinted that maybe that was what was going on, but then he kind of just was like, didn't talk about it. So I think that's the angle they're working. Now they're going to probably squash all angles with Rusev, and probably they'll end up putting Lana on the back burner too, because now there's really no reason to do anything with Lana if you're not working against Rusev, right?
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate because she's pretty entertaining.
Lana.
What do you love seeing her?
I
You
love
just
seeing
really
her.
put it on mute and you're just cranking or what?
The volume's never on when she's on.
Elbow hurts when Lana comes on.
I have tennis elbow.
Yeah, and he ain't played tennis a day in his life. So I'm kind of bummed about that, but then again, I didn't think that was that great too with her and Zig. Even though I'm a Zig guy, I don't feel like I can get behind Zig on anything. At least not tonight. I don't know what it is. I'm anti-Zig tonight, but so Rusev's hurt, and I don't know if maybe that this is a new thing for WWE, but they're keeping the injury like a secret. Like they don't want to talk about what's wrong with Rusev, the Bulgarian brute. Hold on, one thing we have to touch on too. Actually, let's jump back to where the beginning of the show is. if you're listening to the show, the sound quality's not there. We have lost yet another member of the Near Fall Nation. But this one's only on hiatus. He didn't abandon us. He's on a miniature tour up to Fresno, California. Yes. So our producer, William J. Pimble, he's not with us. So we're flying solo here. We got the mixer all to ourselves. He's up there with his band, Los DeVitos. Check them out.
Shout out.
They're the guys that provide the intro music. Cody wants to change. He wants to make an instrumental version of Randy Orton's walkout music, and then he wants to sing it. He hears voices in his head. They talk. They speak to me. I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know what's going on with that theme music, but anyway, shout out to Los DeVitos. The esteemed producer, the master of the little sliding buttons or knobs, he's not with us. So we're rolling old school with a 2-channel mixer, and it's just us here in the studio. The two boys, the primetime players. We're all recording this during prime time, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so, we got a guest here. Here she is. She's coming to lay down her picks. She's not going to get on the air, though. This is my wife, Kylie. She refuses to be on the pod. Can you get some in on the pod here? Oh, we got a message from inside the house that we're making a little too much noise out here. You know what? You can't turn down this audio gold. There's nothing we can do about it. So we're trying very hard to just start whispering now. So we got to be real quiet. Oh, she's trying to sleep. That's my daughter, Madeline, trying to sleep inside. The studio actually borders the house. Some people would refer to it as a garage, and most of the time that's what we do, but right now it's a studio. So we're going to have to try to keep it down, I guess, out here. But we're way off topic here. We're talking about home life. We got to get back on track. Rusev, he's hurt. What's wrong with him? Cody.
I have absolutely no idea. He wrestled right back on SmackDown, which is taped on Tuesday, and that's when the injury happened. So, I'm sure CM Punk has some opinions on what happened.
Yeah, the doctor probably didn't help him or something.
Yeah, he had a grapefruit-sized staph infection on his back.
You talking about CM Junk?
CM Junk.
CM Junk, baby, the UFC fighter.
The guy that wants the UFC fighter to take a fall so he looks
good. You think that's real?
I think so.
I bet it is, yeah. I bet it is.
That guy's not going to put his neck and name on the line like that. He's never going to fight in UFC again after that video.
No, but I don't think he was going to anyway. He looks like a nobody. You heard of him?
No.
No, me neither. I don't follow UFC. It's fixed. Wrestling is predetermined. You know you can bet on wrestling? Did you know that?
No.
I feel like WWE guys will just go in there and just clean house. You know what I mean? Maybe Vince is like, go in there, yeah, I'm gonna put $2 million down on Kevin Owens.
Can you do that? Can you do that though? Or are you gonna get like a Pete Rose kind of like?
How can they? I mean, it wasn't illegal for Pete Rose to bet on baseball. It was just frowned upon, right? He didn't go to jail. He just got like banned for life from his job. So, but yeah, I recently found out you can actually bet. I don't think it pays big money though. That's probably. No, we're not gonna edit it, dude. We're gonna let it roll. There's nothing to be in the editing. This is going right up after this, dude. It's too fluid, man. So, Elimination Chamber, you got Wyatt plugged in there. What do you think about that, man? What do you think about Wyatt taking Rusev's spot?
Well, I think we're going to go ahead and jump right into the picks then.
Let's do it.
And I'd like to start off with the weakest match on the card, which is the Divas match. Just for the simple fact that I don't know what they're doing with that, dude. Yeah. I have my theories that Vince McMahon's a little sour about how AJ Lee left and how she's an actual wrestler. She was a good diva.
She's a good worker.
And what better way to kind of slap her in the face if he thinks he can? Maybe it doesn't offend AJ at all, but give it to a diva who really can't wrestle.
She's getting better, though.
And is dating the superstar. That's why she's relevant right now. Let her break your title.
Hold on. Let's digest your theory a little bit. They're not even on air together ever.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying Vince is doing Cena a solid by putting his old lady over.
You think Cena cares?
I'm sure
Cena's over the moon, dude.
He doesn't like to lay in bed and his pillow talk be like, why hasn't Vince gave me a title shot yet?
Tell her to quit then. I don't know. I can see the wanting to break the record, and records to me and WWE are kind of whatever. But I don't think it's a great match. I don't like divas, and they just constantly flip flop. The Bellas, they're heels. They're arrogant. They're kind of snotty, stuck up. That's how they're supposed to be. So
absolutely.
Yeah, they shouldn't be flip flopping all the time like that.
I know she just came back, but she's the best wrestler in the match. I'm gonna go with Paige.
Yeah, I think Paige is also gonna take it.
Let me go to our call-ins, and coming from Amanda Hanley, she's got Paige, and from my son Kason, he's got Nikki Bella.
You know where his mind's at.
And
what about Taft? What we got? We got Taft's picks?
Oh, hold on. We got Kylie Ramirez taking Paige.
Oh, we got one person's last name mentioned on the pod. Must be my wife trying to get all the near fall fans coming to my house now.
I'm pretty sure I said Amanda Hanley.
Probably gonna be paparazzi at my front door now.
But it's okay. We got Taft coming in with Nikki as well.
All right, I'm taking Paige. I think I already said it. So, all right, well, that match is out of the way. Going to be match of the night candidate for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Could be a surprise. You got Nikki's turning the corner, dude. She's a lot better than she used to be. Her and John Cena together nearly have 10 moves. So, yeah. Where do you want to go next, man? I'm going to let you drive this ship.
Let's go ahead and go Neville, Bo Dallas.
Neville and Bo Dallas, an NXT carryover feud.
Yeah, it's a rematch for the title, the NXT title that Bo Dallas dropped to Neville, and then Neville went on to hold the belt for the longest reign in history of NXT.
You know how much longer he held it than Bo?
5 days.
Yeah, like less than 10 days. John Cena has more moves than he held it days longer than Bo.
I'm gonna go Neville. You're already trying to put him over and you're building him up. I don't see a reason to job him out to Bo unless we're going to have one of those 3 pay-per-view feuds. And even then, I think you let Neville win one, Bo win the second, Neville win the third. But I think this is just a filler match, and I think Neville takes it. Straight out of Taft, we got Neville.
I think we're going to have a clean sweep.
Coming in from Kylie
Anonymous.
Some groupie. Kylie, she has Paige as well, or she has Neville as well.
Of course. You know, she's probably really torn, dude, because I know she's big on both those cats, dude. She's a Bo leaver, big time. I'm surprised she didn't pick like a time limit draw or something.
A double count out.
Yeah, double count out. There you go.
Let's see here. From Amanda Hanley, we have Neville as well. And from Kesa, we have Neville.
All right, I'm taking Bo Dallas. For the simple fact of the matter is that everybody else took Neville. And I'm taking Bo. And I think Bo could easily win this in kind of a dirty way, a sneaky way, a roll up, holding the shorts. So I'm going to take Bo just because everybody else is taking Neville, so I'm going to be outside the box, mix it up like I like to do.
Then I think we'll go ahead and jump right into John Cena versus Kevin Owens.
Gonna be the match of the night, dude.
I believe so. It's not a title match, as far as I know.
Should be title for title. Put John Cena back down in NXT. I'm all over the board on Cena tonight, dude. I'm loving him 1 second. I'm putting him back down in Florida the next,
I just feel like with it not being a title match, that gives Kevin Owens credibility to win. If it was a title match, you got to go Cena.
Yeah, he ain't gonna drop the
You're not going
title.
to let the NXT champion hold the U.S. title.
No, you're not gonna do that.
But for me, I'm gonna go Kevin Owens.
Yeah, and I think you got to think about, you know, what the rumors that are floating around on the internet right now, that Owens has signed a main roster deal, and that he's booked from every Raw from now until 2020, and he's gonna be in a house show starting tomorrow.
Okay, now he signs the main roster contract. He's booked for every Raw. When's he dropping the belt?
What I read, and I don't know how much of it is true, but what I read is that he's going to be on a few more NXTs to kind of slowly phase his character out. So I would imagine that he would drop the belt at the next pay-per-view, NXT pay-per-view.
To Samoa Joe?
No, Finn Balor, he's the number one contender. But then what I could see maybe happening is, because Samoa Joe, obviously, for those of you familiar with Samoa Joe, I'm not as familiar with Samoa Joe as I probably should be, but I've since done some research. He ain't going to need much polishing.
No.
He ain't going to need much. So I could see maybe a tag-along kind of thing. Like you bring up Owens, you bring up Joe at the same time, and they feud on the main roster. And then that leaves...
Yeah, that sounds right.
And that leaves Finn Balor to feud with Tyler Breeze.
Yeah.
There'll be nobody left down there.
Well,
Baron Corbin, Rhino, a couple other cats. Tyler Breeze. I don't like Tyler Breeze as a gimmick.
The injured guy?
Hideo Itami, but yeah, he's going to be out till Christmas. So, I don't know. NXT is the dopest wrestling thing on TV right now. So, they're going to be all right. Maybe get William Regal to polish off the shorts, dust them off, and come back out and do some weird European wrestling stuff.
From another groupie, Amanda, we have Cena. From my son, Kason, we have Cena as well.
That's right. You guys can't see me.
Then from Kylie Anonymous, we have Kevin Owens.
Ooh.
And from Taft, California, we have Owens.
At least me. Yours truly. You know what, man? I'm going to go... What I'm going to do is I'm going to go with Owens to dominate most of the match, and Cena to sneak out, not sneak out, but sneak in an AA at the end. Seal the deal. That's what I'm going to do. It's going to be like what he did with Zayn, where Zayn it was a dope match, awesome back and forth, and they really worked all over, and then in the end, Cena pulled it out. That's what I think is going to happen. So yeah, I'm going with Cena.
Under Cena kicks out of 2 pop-up power bombs.
No, he kicks out of no pop-up power bombs. He doesn't get put in one. I think it's called Lights Out too. They gave it a name.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, when you get to main roster, your finisher has to have a name. So it's Lights Out.
So he doesn't hit one.
No, he doesn't hit one.
I think he hits one on him, but he kicks out at 2.
No, you can't kick out. You can't. Dude, if you're gonna call him up, you can't just come up and then bury his finisher. He's already gonna get buried in the match. Can't bury his finisher.
Every finisher's getting buried lately.
Yeah, well, that let's talk about that real quick. Let's do like 10 minutes on it, or 5 minutes on it, or an hour on it. Who cares? This is our podcast. We'll do as long as we want.
Yeah, that's true.
We got no producer here, tapping his wrist. We'll let this thing roll until wee morning hours, like we did that one time. Recorded 4 hours worth of stuff, used 45 minutes. The finishers, man, they just let them go. And Cena's the worst. Cena kick out of every finisher.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It used to be okay to kick out of the finisher one time at a pay-per-view.
And the main event of WrestleMania.
But not to kick out of a finisher on Monday Night Raw. And finishers are getting kicked out of left and right lately. Like I said, in a pay-per-view once, but
did you see Cena putting up 440?
Yeah.
He's kicking out at 2.
Yeah.
Because he can't not kick out at 2.
Yeah.
Putting up 440. Yeah, I agree. I think it really doesn't do anybody any credit. Well, I guess the guy kicking out, he gets a little steam from it, but the guy putting it on is like, what do you do next? It was like Zack Ryder in the Open Challenge. Like, yeah, his finishers are all lame, but he hit every single one of them, and he even used, I think he used one of Edge's finishers.
Yeah.
And he's using other people's finishers. He still can't get the job done.
Finishers as theirs, they have one finisher and then they have signature moves.
Like in the video game.
Like Dolph Ziggler, he's got a super kick, like Shawn Michaels, but that's his signature move. And he has
and the DDT.
He has the famouser, like Badass Billy Gunn, but that's a signature move. His finisher is the zigzag.
Yeah. Where he pulls a guy down on top of him.
Right.
And it hurts the guy. I don't know.
Right. But, like, you know, I mean, we went to Mania. Seth Rollins kicked out of the first RKO. Randy Orton kicked out of the first curb stomp.
Yeah.
It's okay at a pay-per-view. So that's why I think John Cena's going to kick out of a pop-up powerbomb, which I like the name of that, so I'm going to keep calling it that.
I thought it was called Pump-Up Powerbomb, and I thought, man, that is not a good name. Not a good name, but it's Pop-Up. But now I guess it's Lights Out. So, whatever. Yeah, I could see him maybe kicking out of one, maybe, but I don't know, man. It's kind of hard, you know, with not knowing what they're gonna do with Owens. I mean, is he gonna stay on the main roster? But he's on SmackDown, so there's no reason to put him on SmackDown if you're not gonna have him on Raw and have him going forward on the main roster. So.
All right, let's go ahead and get back into the Elimination Chamber here. So we went ahead, we've covered the Divas match, we've covered Neville versus Bo Dallas, and we just covered Cena versus Owens. What was you said Cena?
I said Cena, baby.
Let's go ahead and hop into the Elimination Chamber, the six-way match for the vacant Intercontinental Championship.
The six-way IC Chamber match.
Truth
What's up?
Versus Sheamus versus King Barrett versus Ryback versus Dolph Ziggler versus now put in Bray Wyatt in the spot of the injured Rusev.
A lot of good picks. Do you ever read into how they organize the guys in the advertisements? You ever read into that? Like this one's got Barrett front and center. Just maybe a thought. No, you know.
This one I got right here has got Barrett front and center. But,
yeah, I'm looking. You sent it to me.
It doesn't matter because it's got Paige front and center, and
yeah, she's not even a champion.
Yeah,
she should be in the back. Pasty
I
broad.
will say this though, the picture I sent out to our call-in voters did not have Bray Wyatt on the six-way match. So I don't know that any of them know that he's in the match.
So just set him up. You set him up.
May be out of context here. They might be changing them come Sunday when we're actually watching the review.
No, it's set in stone, dude.
But we got right here. My pick's going to be Bray Wyatt. I think he's the only guy in the Elimination Chamber that hasn't held a title of any kind, and I think he deserves it. He's a hell of a worker. He besides these open challenges they're doing right now, you know, guys losing and still looking good. He's one of the only guys that can lose and still.
He never wins. Never wins.
I think even the matches he lost to Cena were great matches.
Flukes.
The match that he lost to Undertaker was a great match.
Yeah.
So
it's great in person for sure.
I'm going to go ahead and pick Bray Wyatt.
Bray Wyatt.
Coming in from Groupie Amanda, we have Ryback. Coming in from Kaysen, we have Sheamus.
Ooh.
Coming in from Groupie number 2.
Is he going to miss any time for that Ninja Turtle movie?
I think he's already filming it.
Oh.
Yeah, it's already filmed. I saw a picture. It looks like it's already filmed.
Oh.
She has not picked that one.
She missed that one?
She said, I have to think of the last one.
Well, no. You know what? Keep going with your picks. I'm going to get her on the phone.
All right. So,
even though she's, just a few steps away, I'm going to get her on the phone.
Let's see what Taft's doing. Taft's got Sheamus.
All right.
What about you, bud?
Me, I desperately want to pick R-Truth. Desperately. But, I'm going to have to go with you. I'm going to have to pick Wyatt, dude. I think there's no reason that you don't put white. Kylie, hey, we got you here on the pod, and we need you to make your pick for the Intercontinental Intercontinental Title Elimination Chamber match. So if you could just make your pick.
Can you give me my options?
Yeah, your options are going to be R-Truth, Sheamus, Ryback, King Barrett, Bray Wyatt, and Ziggler.
Sheamus.
Sheamus. All right. You've laid it down. You're signing off the pod. Bye. All right. Sheamus. Sheamuson.
You know, yeah, I saw a picture on Facebook. It looks like he's already in the middle of filming, and I believe that's why he has the haircut that he has.
That haircut sucks, man.
I saw a picture where it's kind of like, instead of a mohawk,
it's like combed down. It's like a comb down. It's like a comb down.
Yeah, him and another guy, they're going to play Bebop and Rocksteady on the new Ninja Turtles movie.
Nah, I don't know. I'm never a Ninja Turtle guy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Heavy Ninja Turtle guy over here, bud.
Yeah, I can see you. See that you're heavy. Oh, zingers.
So
last match of the night, dude.
Two more matches, bud.
What's up with this? What two?
We got a title match.
Yeah, tag match. Oh, the tag match. Yeah.
Let's go ahead and hop into that tag match. We have
so many.
Versus the Ascension, versus the Lucha Dragons, versus Primetime, versus New Day, versus Kid and Cesaro. And before we hop in, you made a point that the third guy from New Day, whoever's not in it, is going to find out a way to get in.
Oh, yeah.
And if that's true, then I think the guy sitting out has got to be Xavier Woods, because he's the sneakiest.
Yeah, he's slippery.
So I think the two that'll start the match are definitely going to be Big E versus Kofi Kingston. But if you look at this picture for this flyer that we're referring to, you'll see that New Day is standing in the front, and all three of them have belts in the picture.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. That's weird.
But I'm going to go ahead and pick, and I think I would like to see Primetime get it, but you're bringing them up right away. I don't think they get it right off the bat, and so for that argument, I think Lucha Dragons don't get it. I don't think that the Matadors or the Ascension deserve it, so I think Tyson and Kidd get it again.
Ooh, really? I don't know, man. I don't think they go through all this trouble just to put it on some dudes that already have it. I think I'm going with the Primetime Players, dude. The Primetime Players, PTP. We got anybody else pick?
Oh yeah, we got Brian Taft Rhines going with the Lucha Dragons.
Lucha.
Then we got groupie number 1, Amanda, Kid and Cesaro. Kaysen has New Day.
Oh, boy.
And groupie number 2 has Kid and Cesaro.
Well, it's all over the place, man. I'm going Primetime Players, dude.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I laid it down. Primetime Players. So.
And then the last match of the night, Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose, which I said before is going to have interference, obviously by J&J Security and Kane.
Yep.
That's a given. I think Roman Reigns is going to interfere. And since we haven't seen him since WrestleMania, and I know he's still on contract for limited appearances, I think Sting may do an appearance. If not Sting, you know, Brock Lesnar's been on suspension since Mania. You know, if you're going to build either of those guys up, like you said earlier in the week, for maybe a SummerSlam thing, you got to start bringing them back soon. They don't have to be on every night, but just cut a promo, you know, where the arena goes black and they're just on the Titantron, pre-recorded even.
Titantron. That's how you know you were a fan in the mid to late 90s when you called it Titantron. Yeah, speaking of SummerSlam, man, we did fire up a GoFundMe page, try to send us over to SummerSlam. You know, we're just a couple poor boys over here from Oldale, so trying to get to the Big Apple to get to SummerSlam. So if you can go in there, put a quarter, you know, put $100, or put $10. You know, we want to go. We want to do a live remote from outside the arena.
Absolutely. If you guys can get us there, don't get us wrong, we're definitely going to put in some money as well.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you can get us there, we'll give every single person that donates a huge shout out on the pod, Twitter, Facebook, and we'll also be doing a live remote. And we'll try to get interviews with anybody. I'll get an interview with one of the roadies.
Yeah, one of your random fan.
The guy that's setting up the ring. I'm going to ask him how long he's been doing it.
Yeah.
And what the turnbuckles are made out of.
I think it's pretty hard to set one up. It takes a while, I think. But anyways, yeah, so you can find links to that on our Twitter or Facebook. You know, go check that out. And, you know, help us out, man. Help some old boys out trying to get to SummerSlam. Trying to go to all the big shows this year. You know, we went to Mania. And now we're trying to go to SummerSlam. So help us out, man. Get on there and help us out.
I'll go ahead and kick it off. I'm going to go Dean Ambrose. I think, you know, Seth Rollins has held it since WrestleMania. That's 2 pay-per-view title defenses. You know, and I feel like if Dean doesn't get it this time, he really does have to go to the back of the line.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Obviously, Roman Reigns is already at the back of the line. Randy Orton's not even on TV right now. So John Cena's got the U.S. title. Who do you throw in to go up against him? If not, those guys I just named. So I think Dean's got to get it, and it'll set up maybe a 3 pay-per-view feud again. You know.
Yeah.
Kylie has Dean Ambrose as well. Amanda Hanley's going Seth Rollins as well as Kaysen, and Taft California as well.
All right. Well, me, I'm going with Ambrose. I'm from Cincinnati, so he's over to me. I'm from Cincinnati, like in spirit. I think I'm from Cincinnati, the Crimson Chin. Yeah, so I'm going Ambrose. I don't think Rollins has held it too long, but I think it's just
not too
it's
long.
getting stale. Yeah, who does he go up against if Ambrose doesn't get it? Do they just recycle it back to Ambrose or to Rollins and Reigns? And I think the bigger picture is this loss could kick the tires for Triple H and Rollins at SummerSlam.
For the title?
No. Rollins loses to Ambrose.
Oh, you're gonna fight each other?
And then that starts something that causes them to want to fight or something. I don't know, but I think they're working that. You can kind of tell just by the looks that Triple H is shooting in. You know, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I'm taking Ambrose. I think it's gonna. I don't know if it's gonna be a clean win. But I think it's going to be Ambrose for sure. I don't know.
You know, but I guess if Rollins wins and Brock comes back, you know, he could get his rematch that he hasn't got yet. I really think that I think Brock Lesnar has to come back on Sunday because Paul Heyman is scheduled for the Stone Cold podcast.
Oh, he'll probably come back on Monday. Monday, the day after pay-per-view, is like a big surprise day.
Yeah, but I think Brock Lesnar interferes on Sunday, and then Paul Heyman is there as his mediator on Monday.
Yeah, but it's not like a no DQ match. So if he interferes, then Rollins automatically wins. And he's not like a sneak out kind of guy, you know what I mean? He's like a sneak out with the green goo and shoot it on Rollins, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I mean, I see he needs to come back soon. If he's gonna be at SummerSlam, he needs to definitely be back soon because it's getting pretty close.
Rollins did it to Brock versus Cena. He came in and interfered, so Brock owes him one. Yeah. So if Brock comes,
but he was Money in the Bank then, right?
But he didn't cash it in.
He was trying to.
No, he just came out to screw Cena over.
Didn't work.
But I think he comes back. He does something. I don't think that he interferes like he has to come out and physically interfere. His music hits, and Seth Rollins shits himself.
He just stands at the top.
And Dean Ambrose does a small package. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And then...
You think a small package for the WWE World Heavyweight title is a small package?
Shit's happen.
Yeah, true.
And then... So then on Monday, Seth Rollins comes out demanding the authority, reprimand Brock Lesnar. He shouldn't even have been there. He was suspended.
Yeah.
And then, ladies and gentlemen, my name is, he comes out.
Paul Heyman. I like Paul Heyman.
He does some shit with Rollins, sets up something between Rollins and Lesnar.
At Battleground.
Goes backstage.
Because Lesnar's booked for Battleground.
Goes backstage and does his podcast with Stone Cold.
Yeah, well, okay, I can see it.
I don't think it's too far out there.
Yeah, no, I don't either.
We've had some more far out there picks.
Yeah. Well, let's cover a few more WWE things, and then we'll move on to our other stuff that we're going to talk about. I read an interesting article the other day. I don't know if you got a chance to read it, about 10 predictions for WWE in 2020. If you read it, that's good. So we'll start with number 10. Number 10 is Seth Rollins will be a multi-time long reign champion. What do you think, Cody?
You know, I was actually doing the math at home with Amanda, and I think it says that he'll hold the belt for 5 to 6 months per reign, and that's 3 different times. He's going to be so that's only 15 months though out of 5 years. That's only a year and 3 months. Those are long reigns, but it doesn't take up the whole 5-year gap. So I could see it happening. I just don't know how they would work it. I think also, I know I'm going to jump ahead on the list, but it says that Cena breaks Flair's record.
Yeah, he's got it. They got to let him do that.
He's one behind.
That's the next one, so we'll just move to that one. I agree. I think they're not. These predictions, this is from a website. It is whatculture.com. So give them credit for this article. Pretty good article, but it's pretty conservative.
But
you're talking about multi-reign, talking about, like you said, like a year and a half out of 5.
Right. Well, it says Cena's going to break Flair's record.
Yeah.
Well, he's one behind. So to break it, he has to hold it 2 more times in 5 years. But Rollins is going to hold it 3 more times and 15 months out of the 5 years. So what are we going to do? Just have Rollins have it, drop it to Cena, Cena drop it to Rollins, Rollins drop it to Cena? You know, I don't think that those predictions are spot on. I do think that eventually Cena breaks Ric Flair's record just for Vince McMahon to say, I want
my guy did it.
Yeah. I think you said that.
Yeah.
The poster child, the WWE guy, because a lot of...
He is WWE. When you think about WWE, you think John Cena's flat top.
A lot of Flair's title holds were WCW or NWA.
Yeah, and Flair's just all around a bad apple. So, yeah, that's number 9, is that John Cena will break a record. He only needs 2 to do it, so I think it's not out of the question. He could win Money in the Bank or something and get like a cheap one that way. And well, cheap. I don't want to say cheap, but he could get an easier one that way. And same thing with Rollins too. Rollins is solid gold as Mr. Money in the Bank.
They could do another. What happened to Daniel Bryan, where the title has to be vacated and does a ladder match 7 and.
Yeah, John Cena win ladder match. Next one on the list here is Daniel Bryan will retire from in-ring competition. I don't know. They haven't even said what's wrong with the old boy.
I think Daniel Bryan beat him to their prediction.
Yeah, I think it's already happened. So I agree. I think he's gonna move in a type of maybe ambassador role or a mentor type role. But I think you got to try to keep him on TV now while he's still popular.
Well, you know, we didn't cover it, but he's going to be to Elimination Chamber.
He guys are going to miss TV. Yeah, that's great. All right. Roman Reigns will keep improving and become the new John Cena. There's no new John Cena.
He's going to keep improving.
He's already improved by leaps and bounds from the Royal Rumble.
He's most likely going to be the company's babyface, but is he flamboyant, bright-colored, eat your Fruity Pebbles, say your prayers, never give up? No.
Fruity Pebbles have a lot of sugar. You shouldn't be pushing them. But I think is gonna happen with Reigns is they're gonna try to push him as the new Rock, the next Rock, which you're not gonna get a new Rock. So, and he's gonna fail, and he's gonna have to be a heel. I think he's better as a heel, not a full blown heel, but just kind of a bad guy that you like to get behind. The next prediction. Sorry, man, I'm losing it here about the producer. I'm just so many thoughts racing through my head. Is that Kane and Big Show and all of the quote-unquote 1990s superstars will retire. That's pretty much a given. With the exception of Triple H.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. He won't, obviously. Prediction number 5, Sasha Banks.
You know,
pop back?
when they say retire from competition.
Yeah, competition.
Because
Yeah.
Kane's still going to be on TV.
Yeah, he'll still be on TV.
Okay.
Number 5, Sasha Banks and Charlotte will dominate the Divas division.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no doubt. No, I don't think there's any question there. I think Becky Lynch will be there as well, and also Paige, and maybe some of the other divas. Like maybe Naomi, Bailey, Emma, some of those. Whenever they finally decide to let Eva Marie wrestle, I don't think she'll be very good, but she seems to be pretty over.
Whatever it looks.
I don't know about that, but whatever. Number 4, Vince will still be in power, but we'll have less of it. I think that's pretty much a given, especially with the success of NXT.
If he's in power, he's in power.
Yeah.
There's no him on the back burner. He's either all in or he's all out.
That's true. You're right.
I don't believe that.
I was saying I wasn't thinking about it the right way. I think there's no way he's gonna be like, yeah, I'll just be in charge of some stuff. Yeah, I agree with that. Next one, NXT will become WWE's number 2 brand, replacing SmackDown. I think that's already done.
Yeah, that's
That's
done.
already done. Nobody watches SmackDown. It's kind of boring. See, a lot of these are kind of vague. Like, the WWE Network will become even more successful. I was actually reading, nerd moment here, I was actually reading their investor presentation the other day. And so there's like 98 million homes that have broadband, and their target is 3 to 4%, which is like 3.5 million, roughly. So that's a pretty good share.
It's
great.
It's
great.
It's just going to get more and more popular.
Yeah, it's great.
And like I've said on this podcast before, to you listeners, if you don't have the network,
You're crazy.
you have to get it.
You're
And
crazy in a fish with titties.
If you have Netflix and you don't have the network and you can't afford them both, cancel Netflix.
And Netflix is junk.
Because if you're listening to this podcast, you're a big enough wrestling fan that the
Yep.
network is right up your alley.
Oh, you're related to us.
Yeah,
and you hate
that's for
wrestling.
sure.
Yeah.
Everything from when we were kids, everything from when our parents were kids,
Yep.
it's all on there. Plus the NXT is on there. The only place you can see NXT
And Elimination Chamber.
in the United
In
States.
the
only.
United States.
Yeah, you can still buy the pay-per-view overseas, but yeah, Elimination Chamber exclusively on the network, and that's how it's going to get eventually.
Yeah, it's gonna be
You're
like that.
not going to be able to buy the pay-per-views. And it's got original programming.
And it's good, too.
After we recorded the podcast last week, me and you sat right here and we watched Too Hot for TV,
Yep.
Sibling Rivalries, I believe. Then we watched It's Great to Be King.
Oh, man, I need to buy that. I wish they had those on there, and I know that that's not going to happen because people buy those, and they're like $25. But
Right, but the preview.
yeah, it was good. It was really good. It looked good. Last prediction, and this is kind of I don't know. There's a lot behind this, but is this guy's name Ua Nation? Ua Nation? I never heard of him. I think he's a Ring of Honor guy. Maybe, I don't know. But so he's gonna become the first Black WWE champion. So I never heard of him. It sounds like he's got a lot of buzz from what I've heard and what I read about on the internet. So I don't see why not.
Now, there wasn't
Could be
a
R-Truth.
black champion before that? The real big buff bald guy that had the hoop ring earring?
Oh yeah, Ahmed Johnson.
Yeah.
No,
He didn't hold the title ever?
no, I don't think so. I guess not. Junkyard Dog? No, probably not. Probably IC title for sure. So we covered that.
Well, that guy, if you think he's a Ring of Honor guy, let's jump into that. Ring of Honor has now
Oh yeah, the Wednesday Night Wars.
that they're going to be on Destination America, and they are going to air right before NXT. So, if you have Destination America, I can't even tell you what channel it is on DirecTV.
No.
I'm definitely going to look for it, though.
Ring Runner's good.
But it's going to be up. I'm sure it's about an hour-long show.
It is. It's an hour-long show.
And then it'll kick right into TNA. The only problem I have with it is that it's going on Wednesday, and that's when NXT's on and Lucha Underground, I believe.
Yeah, and those two are better, I think. Than
I did catch my first episode of Lucha this week because miraculously from the wrestling gods, I got
they rained down upon you.
And I watched it. Really good show.
Loved it. Let's talk about Let's talk about the old boy flying like 500 feet in the air in the ladder match, just from last week's episode. But I know you watched it. That was last week's episode.
Yeah.
The dude jumped off the top of Dario Cueto's office like 25 feet, dude. Thought he was dead. Angelico, that's his name. Thought he was dead.
Yeah, no, that guy's bad. Dude, he jumped and drop kicked.
He flew
that guy off the
like
ladder.
an angel.
The only problem I have with Lucha, I'm not a fan of guys fighting girls.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of.
But then, so I caught the end of that. That was last week's episode. Then this week's episode kicked on, and it opened up with Johnny Mundo versus Star. I forget what the guy's name is, but it was more of a lucha background versus Johnny Mundo had some ground and pound.
Yeah,
you know,
John Morrison, for those of you that don't know. Yeah.
But that was a solid match. I liked it. What I did notice, though, is Johnny Mundo is ripped.
Yeah, he's shredded.
To the max.
He's shredded.
At the beginning of the show, a girl's walking into the arena, and Chavo Guerrero stops her. And his biceps don't even fit in his fucking shirt. So Lucha is not drug testing right now. These guys are jacked on roids right now.
Yeah, there's no wellness program. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
You don't think he could just be naturally strong? Did you see that picture of Triple H, all the food he eats
no,
in 3 days?
he could be naturally strong. But look at Johnny when he wrestled for WCW and WWE, and look at Chavo right as he left TNA. They
weren't necessarily jacked to the max like that, but yeah.
And now they're just ridiculous. But then I saw Conan, and I don't know if it's for show or what, but he's looking bad, and he's walking with a cane.
I was looking like he's on his deathbed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's for show, yeah. The only problem I have with Lucha, did you see the botched shooting star press?
Yes, I did.
When he was supposed to break the table, it looked like broke his neck.
Yeah,
that's how people die. Son of Havoc. One of the worst names. I don't like the ring announcer.
Which
one? The girl.
Oh, okay.
The one that calls out the names.
I thought you were talking about the commentary.
They call that? I think they call that ring announcer, right?
Yeah.
Calls out the names. I don't like her. I don't like the way they build Cage. Just call him Cage. Don't call him the man they call Cage.
Yeah.
And don't say he's from the 559. Say he's from Fresno. Fresno stand up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But other than those and the promos, to me, they teeter on not believable. When they're like, oh, let's fight for these ancient freaking Aztec blood medallions, or, you know, they're really, they have a novella feel.
Oh, absolutely.
And my heritage, obviously, I'm cool with it, but it's, I want to see dudes jumping off the building, you know what I mean? And they do a good mix of that. So hopefully they get renewed for a second season. I know it's kind of up in the air right now. I don't see how they can't. They're like averaging 100,000 viewers, so I don't see how they can't. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think we pretty well covered all the topics we wanted to cover. We got Elimination Chamber down. I'm obviously going to win that. I wanted to give a couple shout-outs real quick here to the Sunday Segway podcast, a podcast from the United Kingdom. So check those guys out. And also the New Age Insiders. Dudes are super active on Twitter, so if you ever want to, an in-depth Twitter experience, just start, tweeting back for those dudes. I also wanted to give a negative shout-out to Moms Against WWE. I think, first of all...
They've been around for years, first of all.
Well, yeah,
They've been around when we were kids.
Their idea is stupid. You're not going to get it canceled. And why, as an American, would you want to put a company... I was reading some of their tweets. They want to put WWE out of business. Do you realize how many people like that supports? It's thousands. Tens of thousands.
People don't
probably.
think with the right minds.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
just like, oh, we put out business.
I mean, trying to stay off political topics,
That's
but
just full bore into it, dude.
we're in a drought, and why can't we get the water from the delta?
The fish. The little 1-inch translucent fish.
Exactly.
We need
So-
that fish.
If we can't get fucking water to the farmers in a drought here in California, what makes you think the moms give a fuck about 1,000 people's jobs on WWE? And I know you're going after the big fish, but moms, you're fighting an uphill battle that you're not going to win. Why don't you try to get Ring of Honor out of business first? Why don't you try to get Lucha out of business
Well,
first?
Moms Against Ring of Honor doesn't have a very good sound to it.
But, I mean, Vince McMahon's going to crush you.
Yeah,
you know?
it'd be like Flash of Genius. Have you seen that movie?
No.
That's got a great Kinnear. It's a pretty good movie. And he's like the dude that invented the intermittent windshield wiper. Because it used to be like all or nothing. Yeah, and so he invented it, and then they stole his idea, and so he sued him. And they sent like, you know those boxes, like banker boxes?
Yeah.
They sent like 200 to his house, and they're like, oh, here are your files. Go ahead, good luck with them. And he didn't have enough money to get an attorney to, But anyways, it'd be like that. So anyways, negative shout out to those broads. You're obviously not very intelligent if that's your idea. So
Once again, I'd like to give a shout out to that WWE guy. We've been messaging back and forth. We're trying to get him on.
you guys starting something? Or you guys got like a little
He lives
bromance going or something?
in England, so it's an 8-hour time difference. So when it's 10 o'clock at night here, it's 6 over there. So it's kind of hard to get him on the pod. I think we might just have to break down after work, record something on a Tuesday, and then just clip it in on Friday night.
Well, this pod bends for no one, dude. These colors don't run, bro. So just want to let you know that. Let's do a quick recap on the pod. We laid down our Elimination Chamber picks. Mine are solid gold. Cody's are junk. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We'd like to hear from you guys. Hope the interview with Randy, it seems to be well received. I know Randy loved it. We're looking, a little teaser here, we're looking to get Randy back on to talk about a riot that he started by having a match. Started a riot. I guess it was a fire. I don't know.
I'm definitely intrigued by this
Yeah,
story.
we don't want to spoil it.
I think
but,
he hit us up on Twitter and told us next time he calls in, he's going to let us know. I'm intrigued by that. It's only been a week, but we definitely want to see, how his goal to get to Japan's going.
Yeah, for sure.
It's coming up on June. He wants to get to Japan in 2015, so it's got 6 more months. We'd like to keep the listeners involved in his.
Yeah, go to his YouTube page, man. Check him out.
Yeah,
Dude's off the charts.
Definitely a nice guy, humble guy. He's been in the business for 15 years. He's not stuck up. He's not. Yeah. If he comes to town, I'm having a beer with him.
Yeah, if you like wrestling, and because you like to watch wrestling, check him out. If you like wrestling because you like production value and HD video, then still check him out and stop being such a stuck-up dick.
Yeah, well, exactly. His videos might not be HD, but
his work is HD.
His work in the ring is HD, but even some of these promos that I've seen him cut are pretty top-notch.
He's top-notch, dude. Check him out. All right, so that's it. We want to, thank you guys for downloading us today, taking time out of your day to listen to Adult Pod. If you like us, subscribe. It makes it easier for you. Comes right into your inbox or right into your podcast app. You don't have to worry about it. Helps us out with our numbers, moving forward with the pod. So
if you want to be on the show,
yeah.
Send a tweet, email, Facebook. We don't interview just wrestlers or people in the wrestling world. If you're a fanatic, if you're a mark like us, call in. We'd love to get you on a prediction episode, get your picks lined up. We'd love to hear from you guys. Anything you got, even from previous episodes. If you want to call in and give us your Mount Rushmore, you want to call in and let us know how bad Cena sucks or how great he is and he changed your life. We want to hear it. We'll definitely find a way to get you in tuned, even if we have to record it during the week and, clip it in on a Friday night.
This is a pod by the fans, for the fans. So that's pretty much it.
All right, guys. Thanks. Appreciate it.